listening to the KolbyCheeZe Gaming Podcast, your source for League of Legends and other gaming news, updates, and discussion.
Hey, what's up guys? This is KolbyCheeZe, and you're listening to the KolbyCheeZe Gaming Podcast. Today is June 15th, 2011, and man, podcast number 13. That's such an unlucky number. Well, whatever, let's get going here. As most of you know, we just recently had E3, biggest gaming conference in North America that I'm aware of anyhow, and lots of really cool games announced this year. I'm super excited about all of the titles that are going to be coming out this year and shortly as well. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about a few of those that I thought were interesting and a couple of awesome videos I found around the web as well. But let's start with League of Legends, shall we? I found a really cool, compilation of stats based on the North American qualifiers. Actually, I think this is across all of the qualifiers from both EU and from North America. Basically, what he did is he took the list of champions that were either banned or picked in across every single match that he was able to get stats on, and pretty much what he found was that the most banned or picked champions in the game were essentially Vladimir, Vayne, and Twisted Fate throughout the tournament as the top three there. And I guess he put a point number to basically you get more points if they were banned or first picked in a matchup. And so pretty much you can see that Twisted Fate was banned across all 17 games that he has data upon. And wow, that's crazy. So yeah, TF, definitely nobody wants to play against that guy. And then Vladimir was either, I think, picked or first picked or banned in pretty much all the matches as well. Same thing with Vayne, either banned or first picked. Pretty wild, interesting stats to kind of look at, and you can kind of look at that with the other champions in there also. So check that out, pretty cool information. And for all of you that were like, oh, Vlad's not OP, hell yeah he is, if you know how to play him. I think this comes down to basically a game mechanic that a lot of people probably don't really think about whenever you have to consider how strong a champion is, especially in the early game and laning phase, and that's sustainability. Sustainability is what allows champions such as Vladimir and even Maokai and a lot of champions who are ninjas that don't have mana pools to do really well in the lane, because they don't have to go back as much as other champions that use mana pools with high mana costs on their abilities or don't have these really strong healing abilities. It's what causes them to not win their lanes so much. You stick a Nidalee in lane, for instance, and she can essentially farm with no mana cost when she hits level 6, and her heal ability allows her to sustain herself throughout the lane if she takes a little bit of harass. These type of abilities are what make characters extremely strong in the laning phase and are what kind of sets them apart from other champions who cannot do that sort of thing. Now, of course, there are exceptions where some champions are pretty strong laners. However, like such as Annie or other champions that can do strong bursts and things like that. However, these champions kind of get overshadowed by characters who can avoid that burst in some way or another and then continue to sustain themselves in the lane and regenerate. For instance, I played a Maokai middle lane against an Annie the other day, and I have quite a bit of extra HP because I am Maokai. I'm essentially base stat madman, crazy last hit ability without any extra damage abilities and lots of HP. And every time I see a bunch of spells being cast, then I can go up and auto attack a champion or a creep or a champion or anything, and I'll get a percentage of my HP back. So of course Annie, she actually uses her abilities quite a bit to last hit, so I'm always able to go and last hit and get my HP back. So if she tries to harass me, it's pretty much just wasting her time. She doesn't get anything out of it. And then if she throws down her full level 6 burst on me, I still have just enough health to kind of step back, and I can throw a few saplings and get my spells up and go in safely and hit a creep every once in a while. And as long as I play safe for a little bit, I'm already back up to maybe half health, back up to full mana before she's able to really do anything to me, because she does rely on that burst. So anyways, that's just one example, and if you think about it, there's a lot of champions that kind of fit this role, such as Mordekaiser and other ones like that. Sustainability is a huge thing in this game, so think about that, especially when you're trying to judge how strong new champions are going to be in the lane and with other comps and things like that. Now, this year at E3, there's actually an announcement from Riot Games saying that they're going to release Spectator mode. Woohoo! Of course, you've all heard about this by now. I'm actually really excited about this. This is one of the things that I personally have been waiting on for a really long time, in addition to replays, of course. But this is a stepping stone to replays because not only are you going to get to now watch these good matches on the actual live server, we don't have to go get onto the tournament server to use some kind of summoner mode, or anything like that. We can actually watch these games on the live client as we please, and we can watch our friends play and things of that nature. So you don't have to worry about like messing up something in the game if you get ulted by a Karthus or whatever the case is if you're watching the game. Now, so that's really exciting right off the bat there, and you can see all the different stuff. If you look at the screenshots, or I guess like the short video that they have showing off the replay system, it looks like there's going to be some great data there for you. You can see like the gold that has been gained through each of the different teams, and you can see all of their items down below as well as like their CS, so you don't have to hold down tab to check that stuff out. So that's a lot of really cool features that I'm going to be super stoked about, and I just can't wait for that to come out, as well as the replay mode. It's kind of the stepping stones to make League of Legends really the dominant esports game out there. In fact, it already pretty much is for MOBA games, and it's already beating out, like, I've seen stream numbers for other games, and consistently League of Legends streams have the most viewers. It's just more fun to play, more fun to watch, and once all of these competitive aspects get together in the game, I mean, right now I feel like even though the game's been out for so long, it's still basically in its infancy in this state, because once these things come out, the game's really going to explode in the esports scene, as you've already seen. I mean, with the Dreamhack qualifiers alone have already broken record numbers for an offsite event to get stream numbers, and I can only imagine how many viewers are going to be there for Dreamhack. So I'm super excited about that, and I'm sure you guys are as well. I cannot wait to just put out tons and tons of replays and commentaries for you guys to check out, doing it husky style and stuff like that. So yeah, looking forward to that. We also had a couple of new champions announced. I am pretty excited about those as well. It seems that the most recent one, not sure what to really think about it. They did give us some details on how it's going to be able to raise up like 3 minions at a time. They only last maybe 4 to 6 seconds, and they're going to kind of buff him. He's going to be a tanky DPS. Could be a pretty interesting concept. Of course, you're not going to be able to actually control these creeps and do with them as you wish. However, it is a nice little concept and one step towards being able to do some extra fancy things with different pets and things like that. So kind of excited about seeing how he actually plays out and seeing him in combat rather than just a couple of screenshots. Looks like a cool champion overall, and I love zombies, so hell yeah. And what else we got? We've got a champion that's kind of a tank, the first girl tank champion. She's actually got sword and shield. I'm not really sure about what I think about her, because she does have an AoE stun. Good gosh, that's another AoE stun. Get that on a team with an Amumu, and then you get like a Galio or some crap. Well, actually, who plays Galio anymore? But whatever, you get my point, right? All these AoEs. I don't know, maybe it's going to be a long wait period before the actual stun happens. I know that it channels for a little bit before the sunbeam comes down and attacks everything, so we'll just have to see how that works out. And then the final character, they didn't really give a lot of details on, but I guess that a champion, he has some kind of ability where he activates it, and as long as he doesn't get hit, the ability is working. I don't know how that's going to work out. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I don't want to really talk about that too much, but it is cool. It's another monster champion, so pretty soon we can have basically all monster teams and stuff like that. You got your all Yordle teams, things like that. So that'll be cool. Yeah, well, I already jumped off of this topic of esports a bit, but there is actually this new website out now which is centered around esports in the whole MOBA genre. So if you haven't heard about it, it's called MOBA Champions, and my friend Forecourt Jester, he has been doing some interviews with some of the top players, and you can go check those out. He did one with, I think, like Chaos or Chowster or something like that, and just recently he did one with Big Fat JiJi. So you can go watch that. I will put the link down below, of course, as with all other links. So go check that interview out. JiJi has some cool insights and stuff, and he has some questions he asks, and so you can kind of watch that. I'd always thought about doing interviews and things like that, but I never get around to it, so I'm glad that someone else is actually doing that, so props to him on getting that done. So I'm not really sure where I found this one video, but it's actually a video of Guardsman Bob singing, like making up a song as he does a player report for some guy, and he's like, yesterday, yesterday, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. Let's just watch a little clip from it.
Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the yellow I used to be.
Speaking of awesome videos, alright, click the link at the very top right here or in the description below to view part 2.